I recall having with a cup of plain coffee some scrambled eggs, both prepared by my mom. I recall waking up for today around 8 in the morning. And I got up about an hour later when my mom told me that the eggs and coffee were ready. Around 9:30 in the morning, my mom drove me to the Wegmans I work at. For my shift today, which was from 10 in the morning to 3 p.m. I took my 15-minute break, my 1 15-minute break for today at 2:30 p.m. during which I drank the Arizona aluminum can of green tea with honey and ginseng. It's what I was given for my shift at Wegmans yesterday. But I ended up not finding time to drink. So my mom put it in a plastic bag plastic shopping bag for me again today. And I ended up sipping and drinking it during my 15-minute break after I spent the hour prior to 2:30 p.m. Doing a few computer trainings. primarily based on food safety, principles that either apply to me and now as an employee within the produce department, or that don't apply to me now but could if I ever do cross training within another department. Prior to that hour in which I completed a few online computer trainings in a sort of smallish, employees only computer lab like room. I think there's only space for 4 computers total on some tables. That are at a wall. One of the walls of that small room. And this room is kind of isolated from the rest of the supermarket. Both the areas that are open and from the other employees only areas. During the first few hours of my shift, I recall in between restocking the banana section of the produce department. I restocked the convenience wall from a few runners. Having my personal cart next to me at all times throughout my shift. I had accidentally forgotten to bring my pair of gloves and my cutter, though thankfully I was able to work without those items for about the first hour of my shift. Then I borrowed a pair of gloves. I was told nobody was using at the time. And then a bit later on after that, a coworker, I'm pretty sure at this point is a manager or supervisor of sorts, gave me their cutter, which was kind of them to do after my request to work tomorrow in exchange for not working on April 20 was accepted, as on April 20, me and my immediate family have plans. What that coworker did was pretty kind of them. I made sure to keep the gloves in the best condition possible, and I returned both the gloves and the cutter right after I ended my shift. Not that it's much of a big deal, since plenty of cutters and gloves are provided deeper within the warehouse part of the supermarket, the part that's only for employees. I just didn't feel like using up another cutter and pair of gloves when I knew I already had a pair of gloves that were still perfectly good, hadn't yet been worn. As for the cutter, the only way you would need a new one is if you somehow accidentally broke it in half, which thankfully has never occurred to me at this point. Hopefully it stays that way. The pair of gloves I borrowed seemed to be basically brand new. And they were in roughly that same condition when I returned them. The time roughly from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. was spent first with my dad driving me to my mom's place, where we picked up my laptop case, which I pre-packed before my mom drove me to the Wegmans I work at. With my laptop, the chargers to my laptop, and my phone, my laptop mouse, and my headphones. We also picked up a Wegmans reusable bag that I would best describe as a tote bag, even though it isn't shaped like a tote bag. which primarily contained clothes and some desserts I packed, such as this cupcake. That was one of two that was in that plastic container. And my dad had the other one earlier. 2 chocolate, among some others. And then me and my dad drove for us to pick up one of his friends. Then the three of us went to ultimately Tryon City Tavern after we first went to my dad's new barber for us to get haircuts. Though in my case, I not only got a 2 buzz cut, but I also had my beard trimmed so that it would be even. Our barber, she did a pretty good job. And on my way out, I took a provided lollipop left out for patrons. In my case, I took a raspberry Tootsie Roll pop. During my shift at Wegmans, I restocked the hard items section of the produce department a little. And while me, my dad, and the friend we picked up were at Tryon City Tavern, another one of my dad's friends joined us. She was pretty kind to us, sharing some of her curly fries with me and the other friend of my dad. Those curly fries were pretty good.